Welcome back. So this video is going to be focused on completing the exercises that are at the end of Chapter 2 in the book A Practical Introduction to Python Programming by Heinold. So let's start with exercise number 1, which is to write a program that prints your name 100 times. So we're going to go into PyCharm. Now the first thing I'm going to do is close the project that was for the Chapter 1. So to do that, basically you just need to go and select that project and hit Close Project. And what that'll do is it will actually exit out of the editor, and here's where you can go in and create a new project. Now one thing that is possible to do is if you go into this button down here allows you to configure your default compiler. And so one of the things you can do is the interpreter for the Python interpreter that's being used is not specified as a standard, and so I'm just going to go in and specify Python 3.6 as being the default interpreter. And I'm going to hit apply, and so that looks like it took. And so now I'm going to create a new project, and this new project is going to be called Chapter 2. So in that Chapter 2 project, I'm going to create a new file, which is called Exercise1. Okay, so this exercise was to create a program that will print my name 100 times. So to do that, I'm going to use a for loop. So I'm going to create a variable I for I in range, and I'm going to use the range from 0 to 100. And you need a colon at the end of that, and that automatically indents, but if for some reason your editor is not indenting, anything that's below or inside this for loop needs to be indented. So then you type in the print function, and I'm just going to be printing my name, and I'm going to print that 100 times. So this is a fairly simple program. Let's go ahead and execute that by clicking run, and I'm going to run it rather than debug it. And that just printed my name, and I can't count all those, but it looks like there's quite a few, probably 100, I would imagine. Now one thing about the range command is if you were to look at the final value that is executed, it would be 0 through 99. And Python is set up so that you can put in a range of from 0 to 100, and you're guaranteed that it'll execute 100 times. It doesn't execute the last number here, so it doesn't execute 100. It would be I would be 99, and you could actually show that. I think exercise 2 actually allows your exercise 3 actually prints that number in front of the name. So we'll get to that in a moment. So let's change back to PyCharm, and I'm going to close this, or I'm going to create a new file called Exercise 2. Okay, so for Exercise 2, we're going to, in this case, we're going to be writing a program to fill the screen horizontally and vertically with your name. And in this case, we're using the print option and with a nothing inside the quotation. So in other words, what it's going to do is instead of putting a carriage return line feed at the end of each print statement as it does, that causes it to skip lines as in the previous program, if you put this end with a blank in there, it doesn't put an end line or carriage return and line feed at the end of the line, and so therefore it will scroll across the screen. So let me go ahead and write this statement. What we can do is we can actually go back and copy some of this. So let's copy what we had in Exercise 1 and copy that over. So we're going to do 100 times, but this time inside the print option I'm going to put in end equals with an open bracket as was suggested there, and let's see what this looks like. So we're going to run this. It's exercise 2. And so now you notice that my name is being printed, but there's no end line there. And it actually is, it just continues on with no end in sight. So that is the method that you can use for printing out without a line feed on the end. Now you can actually scroll this, cause it to scroll by changing so that it doesn't, it'll fill up the screen this way. Now if you wanted to put a space in between those, we could add a space on the end of that, of the end of the Stewart Hall part. And then we can, if we rerun it this time, it will now, it'll now add a space in there. So we could print 1,000 of those. Let's see what that would probably fill the screen. Oops. Let's make it run. And now you see that actually filled the screen quite a bit more than the 100 did. So now exercise 3, they want the program to output the value between 1 and 100 each time in front of the name. So let's go ahead and write one to do that function. So I'm going to copy this and create a new file called exercise 3. In this case, we're going to be going from 0 to 100, or that's 0 to 99 inclusive. And this time, I'm going to hit an end line. I'm going to remove that end equals blank there, and instead what I'm going to put in here is I'm going to print that variable I. So the variable I is going to print out, but that's going to be from 0 to 99. We want it to be from 1 to 100. So I'm going to add 1 to I before I print it. And I believe they were asking for a triple dash in between that number. And so we need to print one other thing in here, which is going to be actually we can include that in the brackets here. And since the print command will print out a space in between this number I plus 1, that should print it out properly. So let me go ahead and run this. So I can click on run. The first time I need to specify which one to run. This is exercise 3. Okay, so you notice that it did that properly. If I wanted to run it again, you can run it with this button right here. Okay, so that is exercise 3. I'm going to pause here and start a new video because this one's getting a little bit long.